Hello, this is Cynthia Mascarenas with Triumphant and Treasured and the Ministry of Walk with the Widow. Once again, we are talking about this book, Widows Are Warriors, A Walk Through the Wilderness of Widowhood. We're addressing various aspects of grief. We've talked about the many faces of grief in the previous video, which covered several chapters in this book. And now we would like to discuss more of the emotional pain. We're fully aware of what physical pain feels like and what it does to us. And oftentimes we know how to deal with that, an ibuprofen or a Tylenol or something stronger than that if it's a bigger injury. But when it comes to emotional pain, it's a whole different scenario and you don't really know how to deal with it. How do you deal with bitterness? What do you do with it when you have bitterness creep up into your heart because of the loss you've suffered? And certain memories or certain things that you see might trigger emotional pain, very specifically bitterness in your heart. What happens to guilt? What happens to your inability to feel joy? I used to often say, I'm laughing on the outside, but I can't wait for the day when my heart knows how to smile again. And that's an emotional pain. That's a huge, huge, huge burden to carry. And it's not an easy one to deal with. And then you have the issue of the future, the fear of the unknown. How do you deal with that? You had a person by your side who, it doesn't matter. Whatever happens down the line, you're not alone. You're going to navigate this journey with somebody. As fearful and uncertain as the future may have been many, many times in your marriage, you always have the comfort of knowing that you're not alone. You're going to do this with somebody. And now you deal with the fear of the unknown. You deal with the uncertainty of the future. And that brings about a whole different level of anxiety and angst that you really don't know how to deal with. So we talk about emotional pain versus physical pain and how these two compare and contrast with each other. How do you navigate emotional pain? How is it different and why is it different from physical pain? Sometimes physical pain is a distraction from emotional pain. The endless challenges that come with widowhood do not come with the recipe for resolution. They do not come with a one-size-fits-all solution. And yet, we do need to find a way to navigate through all of these. So I strongly encourage you, if you are a widow, you know somebody who's a widow, get a copy of this book on Amazon and navigate your grief with the help of someone who has done this before and who's taken the time to process and research and make sense of what it is you're going through. Most elements that you endure or suffer or navigate in the process of widowhood and navigating grief are very common to other widows, at least, if not every area of grief. And so walking this journey with the help of someone who's walked it before is highly recommended. It's definitely a much easier way and a much nicer way to process your grief than to do it alone or to bottle it up or never be able to make sense of it. So I thank you for joining us. And I look forward to you understanding more about your grief. This particular aspect of emotional grief would be in chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and 9. Read these chapters, and as you go along, we will have discussion questions as well on each of these chapters. Either you do this by yourself, just introspective, analyze your own grief, or do this in a group with other widows. Thank you for giving us the honor of walking alongside you. God bless you, and we will see you at the next video.